So I had a request from someone to do a video about my coming out story, which is something I should have probably already done, but haven't really broken down the process of. So yeah, I'll just kind of tell you in as short a way as possible what my coming out story is. So first of all, when did I realise I was gay? Consciously I realised I was gay when I was 17. But as with most people, they will tell you that I have been gay all my life. It just didn't register in my head until I was 17. It was kind of a light bulb moment, I guess you'd say. It wasn't that anything specific happened to me or that I suddenly found somebody to be with and it all clicked and made sense. It was just, I was literally stood somewhere one day and suddenly was completely drawn to this woman, to this girl, and it all just kind of fell into place from there. I wasn't expecting that to happen. My life before I realised I was gay, I was raised a Catholic. I went to a Catholic school. It was an all-girls school with hold your stereotypes, please. But it was never, it was kind of old school because even in like sex education classes and stuff, the topic of being gay was never, ever brought up. I didn't know anyone who was gay. I don't have any family members who were gay. Being gay was never, ever a part of my life. It was never something that I was around or that I even really comprehended in my head. The only thing about being gay is kind of when you were younger, you know, like 8, 9, 10, 11, calling somebody gay, calling somebody a lesbian was just a kind of term of abuse and something to laugh at and mock, and it wasn't something that was ever taken seriously. So that was my background, basically. It's actually quite hard to explain, really, because I can kind of talk about being gay quite a lot, but actually talking about my own coming out story, it's kind of a bit, it takes you back in time. So yeah, I realised I was gay when I was 17, and then a lot of people who are gay, whose stories I've heard, seem to say that they realise they're gay, you know, 15, 16, 17, they might have a few months or a year or so of being closeted and working things out, but then eventually they come out to their family members, they find a partner, they do all these kind of logical things, and I have complete admiration for people who are that brave that young. I was not that brave that young. I was incredibly frightened, not because of, not necessarily because of my family. I have a great family and I would never have thought them the type to throw me out on the streets or disown me, but the religious background I had, and I was actually, ironically looking back now, I was clearly quite a religious person. I had a very strong belief in my God. That's all I'd ever really known. So I couldn't disown that, so I literally took it upon myself to believe that I was ill, something was wrong with me, I was a sinner, I had to change, even though I'd completely fallen in love with another girl, I had to change, this wasn't right. So I basically just stayed in the closet from the age of 17 to, I say 23, but I was almost 24 when I came out, so basically 17 to 24. Many years of extreme depression, extreme guilt, extreme self-hatred, absolutely hated being gay. I'd be okay through different phases, but I remember there were phases where I was chronically depressed. I remember one time I just crying and crying on the floor and just screaming, change me, why have you made me like this, why I don't want to be this, running to the toilet, vomiting. I was ill all the time, like I'd constantly be ill with like viruses and flu. I have a low immune system anyway, but the mentality I had made me prone to getting ill a lot more. I was very self-conscious in social situations about everything I said, how I appeared to people. I couldn't be around gay people. If we were somewhere where suddenly a gay person was, I would hate them, I wouldn't want to be around them, I'd get angry if they looked at me. So yeah, that's kind of the mentality I endured, and it's weird talking about it now because that's not me anymore, and it all seems like another person and another lifetime, which is good, a good thing. I don't cry very easily, as my friends will tell you. My sister will tell you, actually. My sister always, when we go to watch films and stuff, you know, one of these really sad films like Titanic or something, and everyone's crying, and I'm just like, nothing can make me cry. But the one thing that does regularly make me cry, not that I play the song very much because I find it quite emotional, is, and it's very stereotypical, but Frank Ocean's Bad Religion. Just the lyrics of that song on so many levels, to me, resonate in terms of me being gay and not being able to trust anyone and not being able to come out and having a conflict with my own religion, and also being in love with someone that you can't have, who's never going to see you. So that song kind of always relays to me how I used to feel. What's the lyric? Oh God, I should know this. Oh yeah, I can't tell you the truth about my disguise, I can't trust no one. And that's exactly how I felt. Looking back, I don't know why I felt like that for so long. That's why the one thing that I feel every day now, as I've grown stronger and as I live my life as a happier person, is that I wish I'd come out sooner. I wish I'd done it sooner. I wish I'd gotten over everything that was eating me alive sooner, because it was all unnecessary, and only now as an adult, as someone who's come out the other side, do I see that, but when you're in it, it's very, very difficult to see. So yeah, basically I won't keep boring you with the story of when I was in the closet, because it's a very long time and can only be summarised by the word depression, really, self-hatred, loneliness, isolation, etc. But actually coming out, I went through many years of saying, I'll come out this year, I'll come out this year, I'll come out before I turn 20, before I turn 21, before I turn 22, before I turn 23, and I didn't. And I used to find birthdays, New Year's horrible, because every year would go by and I'd be like, I still haven't come out, I'm still in the same phase, I'm still going through this period of my life, and I can't escape it and I can't get out of it. And that was horrible. But basically I was on kind of I remember I went to New York. I don't know what it is about holidays actually, but I went to New York when I was, I can't remember, 22 maybe, something like that. And the plane journey home, it was like 9 hours or something, and it was overnight, and it was one of those awful plane journeys, and everyone was basically asleep or half asleep and looking like death on the plane. And I just remember being like wide awake the whole way home, and I was like, I've got to come out, I've got to come out, I've got to come out, I've got to come out. And that's all I could think about the whole way home. And I was just weighing up what I could possibly lose, what I was going to go through, was I strong enough to deal with this? And I don't know, I just vividly remember that plane journey. And then another year went by, still hadn't come out, the following summer, and I was on holiday again, living it up, as you do. And no, I wasn't. It was one of those chilled out holidays, and I was in Italy with my father and my sister, and everyone was just chilling out or something. It was hot, and I remember that I was sitting on my own, and this feeling kind of came over me, and I was like, although I've said this a billion times before, I have got to come out. And this is the feeling that came over me, and this is the reason that suddenly pushed me to do it. I have met, seen, know, will continue to know in life many people who don't fulfil their full potential, who have dreams, who have wants, who have desires, but never have the strength to change their situation. The people I've seen throughout my life in unhappy marriages, but they stay in these marriages because it gives them a social kind of stamp of approval, but they're not happy, and they stay in these marriages and they judge everybody else, and they never change. And I just sat there on holiday and I thought, I can't criticise these people, because right now I am one of these people, and if I don't change now, I will never, ever, ever change. Ever. So I knew at that moment that if I didn't come out, I never would. Like, this was like a turning point in my life. It's either come out, be gay, and be the strongest person you can possibly be, because nobody else is being strong enough around you to admit that they want to change and they're going to do it, or stay in the closet, buckle up, and you're going to have to find a man who, God knows, who treats you very well and doesn't really want a lot of sex. So that was the other option, which, even to be honest, I could have gone out with a guy. I had a couple of boyfriends growing up when I was much younger. I could have gone out with a guy, but the lying to myself, I don't think I could have. I couldn't have hacked it in the end, but that was the other awful option in my head. That was the other option. So from holiday, I realised that it was take the risk, endure criticism, tough times, being scared, being thrust out in the open and the cold, possibly on my own, to get to the happier life that I wanted, or stay safe, be looked at by society as what a great person Anna is. Oh look, she's married now. She's had her first child. She's had this. She's had that. And those were the options. And it's much easier to go for the safer option. I could have done that. But yeah. Anyway, I'm warbling on. Getting a bit emotional here. And there I was saying, I never cry. Boo. So yeah, those were my options, and it just hit me on that holiday. And I was coming back from this holiday in Italy a couple of days later, and long story short, I knew the first person I had to come out to would be my mother. That was also the most difficult person to come out to. It would have been easier for me to have talked to a friend, to have kind of done it that way, but I thought, if I'm going to do it, I have to do this the hardest way, because it's the right way, and I want to be able to look back and say, this is how I did it, and I'm so thankful now that I can sit here, this is why I did it, so I can sit here and say to you, to say to other people, I did this the right way. And if I can give you any advice, although you won't want to talk to the people who are most important in your life, like your mother, father, siblings, wider family members, they are the most important people, and out of respect to them, they should always really be told sooner rather than later, in my opinion. So I came back from holiday. I had to check with my manager, actually, I remember, because I work at the weekends, and I couldn't remember whether I booked another weekend off work, and it was kind of like, right, I thought if I asked my manager, and online, I had him on Facebook, if I've got that weekend off, if he says yes, I've got to come out that weekend. So I sent him this message, and I thought, oh, do I have the weekend off or not? I can't remember. He wrote back saying, yeah, you've got the weekend off, see you soon. And I thought, right, I have got to take advantage of this opportunity, because I knew it was I'd have the house to myself. I knew my mum was home. I knew it was the other people in my family were working over that weekend, and I knew that was the moment I'd have her on my own, and I would tell her. And I just realised this is going to be like my longest video ever. I'm going on and on and on. So the day came, and I was very emotional that whole weekend, and obviously nobody could figure out why. People, my family thought that I was acting strange because I'm at university studying for my PhD, and I was finding that very difficult as well. And they thought that it was the stress of that, and that I was going to drop out of the course that I'm on, which wasn't the case, but that's what they thought. So anyway, the day came, everyone had left the house to go to work and stuff. My mum had gone out to get something, and I was sitting here thinking, I was actually sitting here on this very chair in this very room. And I think I just psychologically and mentally got to the stage where I was like, I can't even speak. I'm not tired, I'm exhausted, I am drained, I'm done. Like, I'm done with this. And my mum came back, and I was literally sat on this chair, and she came in and she was like, is everything okay? You're acting kind of strange, are you okay? And I remember I had this big jumper on. I'll go and get the jumper. I had this big cool jumper on, this lovely jumper, because it's one of those things that, you know, you just feel like a security blanket. So I had this big jumper on, and I just burst into tears, like uncontrollably, and I said, I am so unhappy. I am so unhappy. And she said, "What, you know, what's wrong?" You know, hugged me and stuff, and said, "You know, is it your uni work? Has something happened? What's happened?" And she kind of sat down, and I literally couldn't say the words "I'm gay." I struggled to say those words for a long time. I tried to look myself in the mirror and say them. When I was out driving on my own in my car, I'd try and say out loud, I'm gay, and it was this disgustingly insecure feeling of, oh, I can't say it. And I couldn't say it. I couldn't say it to my mum. I couldn't say it to my mum. And she literally went through like a list. Is it your uni work? Is it a boy? Is it this? Is it that? Has a boy upset you? No, a boy hasn't upset you. Is it something that's happened in the past? Has something happened? What's happened? No, it's not that. Kind of went on and on. Is it boy? Is it this? Is it that? And then I think she suddenly said something like, is it a girl? And I couldn't even speak. I just nodded my head, I think. She said, you like girls? And I just said, yeah, and just, I couldn't look at her, I couldn't speak. I was crying, and she just looked up at me and she said, "That's fine," which seems so stupid now, because going through all that time, all those years of panic and fear and self-hatred, to just have my mum she didn't even falter, she didn't even go straight away, bang, that's fine. And that's my mother. My mother is the inspiration of my life, always has been, and I should never have assumed a different reaction. She was absolutely brilliant. But I was kind of beyond help at this stage. I packed a suitcase full of my clothes and stuff, put it in my car. I didn't think she was going to chuck me out, but I thought if it kicks off I need to run away. I didn't even have anywhere to go. I was just going with like £100 to stay God knows where. And, you know, obviously I got the suitcase out of my car. My mum was horrified that I packed the suitcase. She was like, why did you do this? So that was the day I came out, basically, and then I was going to speak to like other family members myself, but my mum said, let me talk to your sister, let me talk to my stepdad, my dad, whoever, and she did. It was, although my mum was absolutely brilliant, all my family were absolutely brilliant, it was not a very pleasant time, not because anyone disowned me or was horrible to me or couldn't it was because they couldn't understand, that's why. And it's that adjustment period. And I just remember feeling, after I'd come out for a few weeks, very alienated. My family, it was like, I'm still here, I still look the same, I'm still the same person, I'm still doing the same thing. My family was suddenly had this thing thrust upon them that they were like, oh, we thought we knew you, but yet we don't. But they do, because you just have to prove to them in time, I'm still the same person, I've still got the same annoying traits, the same good traits, the same ways. It's just, here's another area of my life that you didn't know about and I should have told you by now. I won't go on and on because this is really getting way too long, and if you've made it to the end of this video, more respect to you. But I wrote, what was actually really weird is I wrote a lot of stuff down when I was in the closet, and last summer, actually, or last August it was, this is after I'd come out, so I was out and stuff, and you know, about almost a year later, and I had this overwhelming feeling one night. I was like, oh, all that stuff I wrote down just before I came out, because I never read it. I thought I really want to read it. It was like a Saturday night, quite late. I thought, what an odd thing to want to do. But anyway, I got it out and was reading it, because I wrote this just a couple of weeks before I came out. And what was so bizarre is it said the date at the end, which I can't remember what it was, whatever, August 24th or whatever. And the night that I really, really wanted to read this was the same night that I had actually written it a year prior, and actually said, I am writing this, you know, August 24th, whatever, at 2 a.m. And I was actually sat there reading it a year later, August 24th at 2 a.m. and it was just so weird that I had that feeling to want to read it a year on from when I had written it. And I promise you, when you do come out, you will change so much as a person. I never, ever, ever would have believed that I would be where I am today. There's been so many people that have helped me get here, and all my family, my friends, everyone who I've met along the way. You know who you are. Anyone that's helped me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm sorry if I've been a pain along the way, but you have made me so much more healthy, so much happier. And I could bore you with the whole, oh, this is what it's like to be in the closet. I'm sure if you're in a closet, you know what it's like, and everyone has their own stories. I'll try and read something. This is the last thing I wrote before I came out. It wasn't August, it was July, there you go. I've just entered into the early hours of the 15th of July 2011. It's 1:03 a.m. and I'm going to be shattered in the morning. I don't know when I will come out. I know it won't be tomorrow, and I know it probably won't be next week or the week after. I do know that it has to be soon. No matter what your struggle is, I promise you it can be overcome. You can't change overnight, but you can begin to change overnight. So many of my thoughts for years have been occupied with how people will react when they find out. I hope that some people will shock me in a good way with their reactions. At an extremely slow rate, I am beginning to learn that lifelong lesson of not giving a fuck. What a mad nearly 7 years it has been. I am proud to say the struggle will define me. I never knew I could be so strong. Don't live a lie, live life. And then after I came out, I wrote this. It's a bit poetic, really. I think you're going to think I'm like a drug addict, but never mind. I'll just read it anyway. Maybe I won't even put this in the video. What is 6.5 years? I know not of it. The feelings I once felt are etched in the back of my mind, but I no longer know how to access them, for what is a feeling if it can no longer be felt? I am inebriated with new feelings such as wisdom, courage, strength, fortitude, and most importantly, living. Why would one choose to live in any other mode? We do choose every day. The greatest lie of each life is that some external force is governing it, be this God, fate, karma, or merely the bitch we call life. Each day we make our own choices, to stay in the same routine, to visit the same places, to ponder the same worries, to dream the same dreams. No one wants to break the secure environment of the routine, no matter how unhappy this routine may make them. I've seen soldiers fall this year, taken within but a wisp of a moment, gone. What were they? What were they not? How had they become what they were? Did they ever become what they had so often dreamed? I know not of pain. We had a long affair, but quite suddenly it changed. It found a new victim, new hurt, new games. I no longer know its name. I see cousins of it pass by in the night. I see bitter angels waiting in the wings to take its throne. I hear them cry through other people, but so little are their effects to me now. I know not of guilt. I do not understand applying its definition to a context for which it cannot connect to. Guilt is for murderers, for rapists, for deception, for hate, for pain, and for sorrow. Guilt is not for love. Time has evaporated into a void that I sometimes catch a glimpse of. It has stained my window of life, but it seems through strength I created new air that is always able to remove it. I know not of who I was, only who I am. No longer do I carry any demons or angels, I carry life. I am no longer a shadow, I am a whole. I am no longer silently safe in your pack, I found my own road. You walk each step with the same voices, perhaps they are your only love. I know not of faded aspirations. I know of renewed choices, dreams, ambitions, hopes and vigour. Now they embody me. That is how I shine. And then I just finished it with this paragraph because I write lyrics and stuff. And the tears that once hit the floor have faded from red to gold. I know not of the many demons that once ate away at my soul, and the doubts that once flew so high are grounded indefinitely. They only ever live off weakness, so now they cannot live off me. And I called that Vivere, I don't know how you pronounce it, V-I-V-E-R-E, because that stands for, that's another word for living, to live. I can't believe I just read that out, how embarrassing. But I'm really going to stop this video now because it's so long and you are going to die of boredom. But that's kind of my coming out story. I have many other coming out stories, obviously, of coming out to friends and stuff, which I will promise you I would keep documenting because I know how much it helps. I doubt Jenna Ann will ever watch this. Jenna Ann, if you ever do, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your videos saved my life. I genuinely believe they saved my life. I used to wait, you know, be it a week or a few weeks just for your next video to come out because I was alone and you were the only voice in my loneliness that saved me. Thank you. Everyone go watch her videos. I'll put the link underneath this. And that's it. Please, I promise you, it gets better. I'm not saying this for effect. I'm not saying this for drama. On my life, I never thought I would be the person I am now. I am so happy. I've got so much stuff to be thankful for, to be grateful for. I've learnt the true value of human nature, and I thought I needed religion to do that, and the truth is I never ever did, and that's what's so ironic about my story. I was bound by religion, and once I let it go, and found a new religion, and found a new love, and found a new way of being, I was so much happier. If any of you are going through a bad time, email me, talk to each other, comment. We will march forward together. We're all the same in our different ways, and it does get better, I promise you. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. Stay strong.